All right, beautiful people out there, welcome back. I'm Special K. Welcome back to Talking to Myself, your host, Special K. We're back at it for a beautiful day, beautiful week going on. Hope everybody's doing good out there. We're going to get straight into it, baby. Breaking news as of last night. That's right, baby. Patrick Beverley headed to the Lakers, Los Angeles. Traded to Los Angeles from Utah. Utah receives Talon Horton Jr. Talon Horton Tucker. No disrespect. Apologize to Mr. Horton Tucker. And Stanley Johnson going to Utah for Patrick Beverley. Spend a second here, break it down. And once again, before we get into it, comment section is open, chat section is open. We're live, so if you'd like to comment, join in on the show, go ahead. If we have any comments, I'll definitely bring you in, and we'll go off of that. So, I got the news late last night after I got home from work. First of all, huge Lakers fan, huge Rockets fan from the 713, represent. Love Patrick Beverley. I've always been a big fan. Obviously had a hard time coming in to the NBA until he got to the Rockets. I was very sad. I know we were getting Chris Paul when we traded Pat Beverley and everybody else to the Clippers for him. But we got Chris Paul. But I was very upset. Pat Bev a dog, boy. He a dog. He's that leader. He's got that. He reminds me a little bit of myself. Positivity and good vibes is a big part of my life. Sometimes it's harder than others, but I try to look at positives in life, basketball, whatever it might be, even when there's a lot of negatives going on. So I love that about him. I love how much he puts into everything, that heart. I was talking with a coworker and a good friend of mine today. It's hard to find somebody like that, man. You got the heart, you got that leadership, that positivity, and the Lakers got that in Pat Bev. As for meshing well with the team, we'll see what happens. I think it's a great pickup for the Lakers. I think he's going to give that extra little bit of life for the Lakers. Whenever they're down or everybody's feeling bad, we know how they get. We know how the Lakers get. We know how LeBron gets and all that. So to have a guy like Pat Bev to just pump everybody up when everybody needs it, that's going to be a very good cause of it. They lost. Losing Taylor Horton Tucker, I don't think and yes, he still has time to develop. He's a great role player, had a great first year, had good playoffs in the bubble. I don't think he's that guy. I do think he's a great role player. So giving up him, question marks go up for sure. For Pat Bev too, and you're giving up Stanley Johnson, and I'll get to that in a second because the Stanley Johnson thing makes complete sense for sure. But Tucker, I'm sure money. I'm gonna say I'm sure money, but absolutely money has to do with this with Horton Tucker. He's going to be up for extension soon. Gets that money off the books. You don't have to sign him. Who knows? He could always come back as well. You never know in today's NBA for sure. Man, he's a good role player. He's young too, so to lose some young talent from the Lakers when you have a lot of older talent, it's definitely a loss for sure. But you get Pat Bev, you get that dog, you get that heart, you get that leadership. So I'm excited to see what happens. As for Stanley Johnson, man, that's a money dump, bro. That's a money dump for sure. Excuse me, sir. Cheers, boys. Cheers, boys. So Stanley Johnson, if you guys are not aware, Stanley Johnson signed a 2-year extension at the beginning of the offseason. Clearly a money dump for the Lakers. That's all it was. They didn't have to trade Stanley Johnson, but they did. It's a money dump. Good for the Lakers. I'm sure Pat Bev's contract eats some of that up. But still, I'm sure saves at least a couple million. So, good move. Putting Stanley Johnson into that trade. Taylor Horton-Tucker, I'm still upset that we're losing him. Good role player off the bench for sure. I think he could be a good part of that rebuild for Utah. My buddy and I were going over last night when the news broke. We were just going over everything, going over some rosters. You know, obviously Utah is in a rebuild mode. And all signs are pointing they're going to rebuild around Donovan Mitchell. And I am thrilled with that because I believe you need to rebuild around Donovan Mitchell. So let's take a flashback real quick. Before I continue, no comparison to any of these players whatsoever. So please, there's no disrespect coming from myself, and there's no comparison to these 4 players whatsoever. So once upon a time, there was a duo. There's a duo in Los Angeles by the name of Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. And man, did they do things, man. Did they do things. Woo! Baby, they did things. How about that 3-peat, baby? Let's go. They got that 3-peat, man. And 04 was obviously sad. You know, to have a squad like that with I'm getting my head ahead of myself, man, because that 04 squad with Karl Malone and the glove, bro. Still upset. Still too soon for me. But anyways, Shaq and Kobe was that great duo. Obviously, no comparison whatsoever to Rudy Gobert or Donovan Mitchell. They have not had the accolades. Yes, Rudy Gobert has won some, I believe, 3 decent defensive player of the years, but absolutely no comparisons whatsoever. So please, no disrespect. Shaq, you're the greatest center of all time, man. You're one of my favorite players. Kobe, rest in peace. Yesterday was 8/24. Day before was your birthday, man. You're one of the greatest of all time. You're one of the greatest of all time. And I'll show some more respect to you later. Obviously, yesterday was 8/24, and your birthday was the day before. But, man, one of the greatest of all time, man. Everything you did. And I'll get to you. I'll get back to Kobe later, obviously. But, man, anytime I can show some respect to Kobe, he's gone too soon for sure, but one of the greatest of all time. One of the greatest of all time. So Shaq obviously was traded. They had to pick one. They picked Kobe. They rebuilt around Kobe. So it took about 5 years. If you want to be honest, it took you 4 years to get back to the championship, but 5 years to get you a ring. Kobe got them 2 rings. Once again, no comparison whatsoever. I want to make that very clear. I am not comparing Kobe and Shaq to Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert because, like I said, Shaq, greatest center of all time. Kobe, one of the greats. No disrespect, no comparisons. But to see now Rudy Gobert be traded to Minnesota, and of course there was some talks about Donovan Mitchell being traded, and those died down very soon, and I'm glad they did because I believe they need to rebuild around this guy. I love that they got Walker Kessler in this deal. Walker Kessler in this deal was great. I think he will be part of the future. As a starter or role player, who knows? But at the same time, I think he will be a part of that. Taylor Horton Tucker as well. I think he will be a part of that. Role player, starter. I believe a role player, but everything coming from me is opinion. So I think in the future, because obviously I broke down the roster last night as I was looking at it, and obviously they got. I think there was one other player that I would possibly keep to rebuild around with Donovan Mitchell and Walker Kessler. So obviously they got some work to do in Utah, but to bring Horton Tucker obviously is a third player, but I believe there was a fourth player who's already on the roster. I did like Royce O'Neal. I did like bringing in Royce O'Neal, but obviously he probably won't be there in 3 or 4 years. So I like what Utah is doing. They're definitely building for the future, and I can definitely see success in the future for them if they can handle this rebuild in the correct way. So let's see what happens. And I'm excited for Utah. As for a winner or loser in this trade, man, I don't think there's a loser for sure. I mean, Utah won. I believe Horton Tucker, if they re-sign him, could be part of this rebuild as a role player, maybe even a starter in the future. So Stanley Johnson, don't get me wrong, Stanley is a great player. I think he turned it around with the Lakers. I mean, when everybody was playing pretty bad last year, Stanley Johnson stepped up. So definitely proud of him, definitely happy for him. I hope you play well in Utah, and I hope you get your money, man. I mean, you just signed that 2-year contract, so you got some money coming to you, and hopefully it keeps coming to you in the future. Excited for them boys in Utah. Excited for my boys in LA. Now that we got Pat Bev, hopefully Russ. Yes, I know there's beef between Russ and Pat Bev. Excuse me for a second. Cheers, boys. I know there's some beef around Pat Bev and Russ Westbrook, obviously. Have you guys ever had beef with somebody? You know how hard it is to make amends, but when you're face to face with somebody, especially on a day in and day out basis, and you're on a team or you're at work together, you got to come together at some point, and that takes two people. Russell Westbrook is a Hall of Fame player, and he has done so well. I believe he can mesh well with Pat Bev. I believe this will work out. I believe they have the maturity, and I'm talking about Westbrook and Pat Bev. I think this is great for Russell Westbrook. I think Patrick Beverley is just going to pump him up, man. And I think that dog in Pat Beverley is going to transfer over. Still going to stay in Pat Beverley. Don't get me wrong. It's going to stay in Pat. But some of that dog is going to go over to Russ, man. We're going to say different Russ for sure this year. And I'm excited. Russ, obviously you're not watching this, man, but let me say one thing about it. Obviously you're not in my top 2-point guards, but a huge Steph Curry fan. What he's done for the game, changed the game. But Russ, you're one of the best to ever do it, man. And one bad year does not define you. What Laker fans, besides myself, Russ. Man, what they did to you last year, man, made me sad, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I can only imagine, man. I mean, we all go through tough times, and just to see you going through that tough time, I could see that you were trying to be that teammate for LeBron and AD, man. And even though you weren't doing what you could on the court, you were trying to do whatever you could out of the court, man. And I respect that. And I see it. I saw it, man. If Russ, you're one of the best, man, to ever do it. And I just think this is it for you. This is your year, bro. I think Russell Westbrook is gonna have an amazing year. Yes, you heard it right here, boys. Let's date it. August 25th, 2022. Russell Westbrook will have a breakout season. Breakout season. Lakers fans and NBA fans, you better watch, man, because he's going to go off. I think this Laker team is going to ball out, bro. I've seen that now they have Austin Reeves is going to be a starter. And so is, I apologize, Lonnie Walker IV from San Antonio. Shout out to the greatest coach of all time, Greg Popovich. I see you, dog. But yeah, to see Lonnie Walker and Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves had a very good, man, that buzzer beater last year, boy. Woo! Very proud of you, Austin. If you're starting Austin and you're starting Lonnie, we got Pat Bev coming off the bench, man. We just signed Damian Jones, bro. I'm very excited for this year. Expectations are not very high. Let's be honest. Expectations are not high at all. That's the way we like it. That is the way we like it, baby. I'm getting ahead of myself, and I apologize, but man, very fired up by this trade. Hasn't been a lot of action lately, except for the whole LeBron extension, and I will jump to that next. But to see that last night, get off work the double. Yes, I work like crazy. But anyways, that's besides the fact. To get off a long day and night of work and just to see that. Happy for you, Pat. Shout out 713 Rockets. Love what you did in Houston, man. Love what you did with the Clippers. Especially what you did last year. I think you were on a whole new level. And I'm not talking about just a basketball player. Because basketball, let's be honest. Let's be honest, boys. Basketball is not just basketball. Let me take you all back a little bit. I'm from Illinois. Went to high school in Muscoota, Illinois. Shout out, Indians. You know what it is. 618, baby. MSCOUTAH. Go Muscoota. But, my freshman year, we went to the Final Four in the playoffs. I'm talking about football. Jump to football real quick. Great squad. And if any of my guys out there are watching, man, I didn't play my freshman year. I played golf. But, man, shout out to my boys, the Indians, bro. They balled out. Big boys, skinny boys running. Austin Givens flinging that pigskin, bro. And they did the same thing the sophomore year. They went to the quarterfinals. I'm very proud of my guys. I played sophomore year, but I was not on varsity, unfortunately, until playoff time, but that doesn't count. Whatever. So my junior year, obviously, I was part of the varsity team. We lost our quarterback, our offensive line. And shout out to those guys, man. Travis James. I can't believe I remember these names. I graduated high school a long time ago, but Travis James, Greg Heidi, Andrew, I forgot his last name, but Andrew and Alan Horowitz. Man, I miss you, bro. Shout out to Alan Horowitz, bro. Hey, my junior year, that was the squad, bro. And so Alan Horowitz was a part of that junior year. Sorry. And Travis James, Andrew, and Greg Heidi all were gone after my sophomore year. So junior year, basically, so our quarterback was in my grade. He wasn't the best. Obviously, he was probably mediocre at best. Shout out Jacob Gruber. And we had one guy. And if any of my friends or family from Muscoota are watching, my junior year, one guy, you know who he is. Matt Milton. Shout out, baby. Thought I'd be watching NFL right now, but I seen you were here or there. You still, man, proud of you. Everything you done that I've watched since high school, man. I'm very proud of you, bro. All the adversity you've dealt with, it's amazing, man. And everything you have become and done and accomplished in your life. You played with Teddy Bridgewater, bro. So uh, definitely shout out to Matt Milton, man. One of the best wide receivers I've ever seen in my life, and that's still staying still to this day. But anyways, before I get off track, we went didn't have the best. Basically, we got in the playoffs off of a coin toss, and I know I'm dragging the story out a little bit. So anyway, we played the first round. We were the 8th seed. We played the first seed, Rochester. We lost, but barely. We played a better game than what we were expected of. Shout out to Matt Milton, Brandon Maurer. You know what you did that game, dog. So shout out to you boys. But that next year, we lost Matt Milton. And me at the time, I was a senior. I was 240 pounds. I did not play offensive line. I played defensive line. I was the biggest guy on the team. So we lost every single game except for that last game. So see everything that happens, man, just we weren't together. First of all, everybody in my senior class, I talked to one person in my senior class. We had our 10-year last year. It's our class, man. But anyway, we didn't like each other, man. I remember towards the end of the season, I think we had 2 games left. We're in the locker room after practice one day. We had this sophomore kid, great defensive lineman, skinny but built. You know who you are, man. Shout out to you, dog. And we had this linebacker. They were arguing about stats. Stats in the locker room when we were defeated. Unwin. Can we make that a new thing? But anyways, it was just I stopped it. I said right away, we haven't won a fucking game. Are you kidding me? Like, you guys are arguing about stats right now? So it takes a lot more to be a team. It takes a lot. It takes heart. It takes whole leadership. So I think the Lakers can come back from this, man. I'm really excited. I know what it takes as a team. There's so much that goes into it, man. And that's why the Golden State Warriors are so praised all the time. From top to bottom, man. Owner, GM, squad, coaching staff, bro. Just phenomenal from top to bottom. So it takes a lot to go into the team. And that was my point. I'm sorry I dragged that out. But that was my little comparison story to connect it to. Because for you guys out there that, haven't been part of the team, but watch. These guys win World Series or Super Bowls or finals championships, man. It's more than a team effort, man. It's a grind, bro. It really is. It's just everything that goes into it. I can't even say everything, man, that goes into it because it's just really so much. And so we're talking about the behind the scenes today, me and my buddy. Man, there's so much that goes behind the scenes we don't see. To win a championship is so hard. For a team to come together, man. We give shit to the Lakers for that bubble championship, man. But really, championship's a championship, man. They earned that. They won it because they were together, and they deserved it. So really happy for Pat Bev, happy for the Lakers, happy for the Jazz, happy for Horton Tucker. Cheers to the boys. And we're going to keep it in Laker Nation. We're going to keep it in Laker Nation because LeBron is staying. LeBron James has signed a 2-year extension worth $97.1 million. Getting the most money as an old man in the NBA, baby. Cheers, LeBron. Like I said, 2-year, $97.1 million extension for LeBron. Option after the first year to make, after the first year of this extension to make him a possible free agent in the 24-25 season. And if you guys are familiar, if anybody's watching high school basketball or anything, who's in that draft class coming up in 24, huh? Oh, Bronny, baby. So LeBron can be a free agent, and there's no reason to be. There's no reason to say anything right now about what could possibly happen because we're too far out. We're too far out. I think LeBron made the smart move. He got his money too, but if you want, we'll see what happens. We'll see. I'm not going to get too deep into this right now because obviously there's time. So time will tell. As time goes on, we will see more and more what will happen. So LeBron, happy for you for getting that bag. Continuing to get that bag. My favorite player of all time, bro. You've done a lot for me, for the game of basketball, and just thank you, man, for real. So to get that bag, man, and say in the city and the Angels, man, I'm happy for you. It's just a great place to play basketball, special, man. Go win you another championship, bro, for sure. So, like I said, I'm happy for LeBron checking that bag. Kind of surprised, not really surprised that LeBron got that bag. So, honestly, timing was a little different than I expected. But as for all the details, not surprised. Not surprised. Man, so happy for him. Happy LeBron. And we're going to stay on LeBron James, baby. We're going to stay on LeBron James. Like I said in our early episodes, and we're not too far in, well, we're going to talk some historic facts today, baby. Your favorite, LeBron. We got our early Cleveland Cavaliers, Bron. We got our Miami Heat, LeBron. We have our I'm home, LeBron. And then we have our Lake Show, LeBron. So we're going to break down the LeBrons. And we're just going to break down, and I'm going to tell you my favorite out of the LeBrons. So we're going to start with LeBron, Cleveland Cavaliers coming out of the draft. Obviously, man, it's hard to beat this LeBron. First of all, LeBron was, who does not remember the Sports Illustrated of The Chosen One? So to see LeBron and come in the league and just dominate like that, and in 07 go to the championship with a horrible team, man, just Chosen One for sure. So that LeBron was a dog. Things he could do, the air he could get, it's great. Cleveland wasn't really helping him much back then, so taking them to a championship is obviously, that just makes him great. Makes him great. So definitely hard to compete with on that type of LeBron, early LeBron, before his prime, man. I mean, gosh, man, great LeBron. But we're gonna go hop to 2010 to 2014. I'm going to take my talents to South Beach. Damn straight you're going to take your talents to South Beach. Miami Heat, here we come, baby. And they signed Chris Bosh, and we have a big three besides the Celtics. Man, did that shake shit up, man. It was such excitement. Excuse me. Such an excitement, man. No, he didn't do what he said he would or anything like that. But to go to 4 straight finals, man, that's incredible. went to Dallas was a good team. Don't get me wrong. I think there was a lot of veterans, but they just meshed well. That was a good series. Um, Obviously, they should have beat OKC, and they did. It was a very young squad. No disrespect to OKC. No, don't disrespect to Harden, Durant, Westbrook. They were just young, man. So they had to win that, and to win one out of two from the dynasty of San Antonio, man. Just that guy was a dog, man. I don't know if you guys remember during playoffs on social media, LeBron would black out, bro. He would not post on social media, and back then he was a more quiet person to social media, man. He took on that villain role. And man, did he embrace it. Miami Heat LeBron was an animal on his fucking own, man. He was different, bro. And I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again. But LeBron in Miami, my personal favorite. Yes, you're hearing it. That's my opinion. Miami LeBron, my favorite LeBron. Just to see that was great because I think once he went home, he was more. He just wanted to be light. And I had this conversation with my good friend today. We really dug into it a little bit. And I'm glad. I always love to hear from other people too, not just my friends, but other people, man. Just to hear their input about things. Uh, it's man, it just helps so much. I mean, when you can take input and take it serious, and then you compare notes, and you're just like, yeah, man, maybe I wasn't looking at that side. So I do appreciate my friends and anybody else that gives me some opinions, man. It's great. It's great. But man, he was different, bro. He was different in Miami, man. And went home to Cleveland. He more opened up. And I remember, if you guys don't remember, in that Sports Illustrated "I'm Coming Home" article by LeBron, he didn't expect to go to the championship, man. He knew Cleveland was still finishing that rebuild, man. But do you all remember who signed to Cleveland after LeBron signed? Sean Marion, Mike Miller. Oh, oh, oh. We traded for Shump and JR later in the year because obviously Dion Waiters and LeBron could not play together. So to see them in the finals each year was exciting. He got that one. Shout out to Cleveland. He brought it home. Played well, but I'm not going to lie to you, boys. LeBron, like I said, you're my favorite player, man. Grew up watching you. The last year in Cleveland, man, pissed me off. Piss me off. You got your squad, dog. Okay. Getting rid of Kyrie, obviously out of your control. Upset that Kyrie left, but it is what it is. I don't think Cleveland did a great job in getting back what they deserved in the trade. Isaiah Thomas had a great year. No disrespect to him. I believe he never should have been out of the league and should continue to have a starting job in the NBA. But you got rid of one of the best ball handlers of all time for Kyrie and Jay Crowder and Ante Zizic. A draft pick. The draft pick from the Nets. Don't get me wrong. Great draft pick. Believe they got you calling. But Jay lasted 6 months. Isaiah lasted 6 months. Let's be honest. Like GM. What he did at the trade deadline, bro. D-Wade never should have left. I know there was a lot going on with D-Wade. I've watched the D-Wade documentary that he did. He wasn't there in Cleveland, but he should have stayed. He owed that to LeBron. No disrespect to you, D-Wade, but you owe that to LeBron for what he did and brought to you in Miami. You should have done that for him. You should have stayed a full year, man. D-Rose should have stayed. That's not on D-Rose. Never should have traded D-Wade. Never should have traded D-Rose. man, just to trade those guys. You had George Hill on Steph Curry in the finals. So yeah, I was pissed off because you got swept. You got swept for a damn reason. So Cleveland LeBron's obviously still good, still great, but that last year really rubbed me the wrong way. Was happy to see him wear that purple and gold, and he's been balling out, man, at the age he is, man. So it's definitely hard because all four of these LeBrons are just out of this world. If I had to do a second, man, it's hard. Man, it's hard because you got that young LeBron in Cleveland that brought his team to the finals with nobody on the roster, bro. Let's be honest, not really. And what he did in Cleveland when he came home to bring that one home and beat the great Warriors, definitely exciting. And I believe they could have won that one in 15 if K Love and Kyrie didn't go down, but it is what it is. So, and what he's done so far with the Lakers by himself, stats wise, he got that championship. Get a championship all four, I apologize, with all three teams, not all four runs. Definitely worth talking about. So it's definitely hard, but my personal favorite, for sure, Miami LeBron. Miss you, dog. Hey, bro, just go. Act like you're the villain now, bro. Make shit up like Michael Jordan, bro. Just start making shit up. Thirsty Thursday, baby. Cheers, boys. We getting late. You know what it is. All right, boys. So we're gonna talk about one more thing. Like I said, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk about some historic stuff. We're also gonna talk about some future stuff. So one thing I want to bring up is, obviously the dynasty we got going on right now is the great dynasty of Golden State Warriors. Now back to winning championships. Hopefully can add another one here in the near future. So I started thinking. I said, Special K. That's what I call myself because obviously that's my name. Who could possibly be the next dynasty NBA? We broke it up into 3 tiers, baby. Let's go. In the first tier, I got 3 teams in the first tier. We're going to start with our 1 and 2, the Celtics and the Bucks. Love what the Celtics did this offseason. I love bringing in Malcolm Brogdon. They still got Derek White off the bench. Marcus Smart, point guard, I think you're loaded. Jason Tatum, got to step it up, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. Shout out to Jason Tatum because I also grew up in St. Louis. So shout out to my boy. But who's better, Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum? Because honestly, I got Brown ahead of him. Not by much. Don't get me wrong. Not by much. But I got Brown up. So I'm definitely excited with Boston to do. I think once they got that little taste of the finals. You feel me? They got that little taste, baby. They'll be back. They could possibly be apologize. It could possibly be a dynasty for sure. I think Milwaukee too. Obviously you got one of the greatest over there with Giannis, greatest in the league today. So Bucks management, whatever they can do, we'll see. Those are the closest to, in my book, to being dynasties. And we're just talking about dynasties right now. We're not talking about just winning a single championship. But I think the Bucks, with Giannis being young, and Boston with obviously Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown being so young, and Marcus Smart, I believe they can both possibly be the next dynasties. But Golden State, in my opinion, they're in that tier too. I mean, they're above tier 1, baby. So, we'll see what happens. But that's definitely my tier one. My 1A, we got to shout out to Memphis Grizzlies. And yes, they're a couple years apart. But I want to shout, and I didn't want to put them at 2. I wanted to put them in 1A because as annoying as they are, man, I really like what they got going on. So I'm excited to see what happens over there in Memphis over the next 3 or 4 years. I think it could be a possibility, man. Who knows? Who knows? So we'll see. You know, Jaw and Desmond Bain, 1 and 2. If Jaren Jackson keeps working out, there's your core. There's your core. We'll see what happens. As for 2, man, I I got 2. I got 2. It was a little tough. Obviously, Phoenix, still very young over there. They can still continue to bring in players. You know, Chris Paul will not be a part of that, but you know they still got Devin Booker, Michael Bridges. I just like what they got over there, and I think they can continue to build on to that franchise, and possibly in the next 3 to 4 years, who knows, man. I mean, definitely in the right direction. That's why I got them at 2, and they're not the only one. Dallas, they're right there with them. I mean, Luka, I really like what they did in the offseason. I really like what they did at the trade deadline last year because I think you needed to get rid of Kristaps Porzingis. And to get Spencer Dinwiddie and still have him, I think was a great move because now you got that backup guy, and now you bring in Christian Wood and JaVale McGee. Apologize to JaVale McGee, 3-time champion. But to bring those guys in, man, that's awesome. Especially JaVale having that championship experience. I think it's going to be exciting in Dallas, and you know, JaVale's got that 3 year. I see them in the next 2 3 years possibly being, you know, in the finals. Who knows? Start their roll onto a dynasty. So that's why I got them at 2. I do have 2 at my 2A and 2B for tier 2. Very hard. These 2 teams are young as well. I had to put Chicago and Cleveland in there. Start with Chicago. Chicago, obviously, as you guys, if you watch the show, I'm a huge ball fan. So Lonzo, LaMelo, LiAngelo, definitely happy to see Lonzo in Chicago. I think him and Zach LaVine could possibly be one of the best point guard, shooting guard duos in the league in the next few years. So excited to see that. You brought in DeMar DeRozan, who had an absolutely fantastic year last year. And to plug him in back with Lonzo, Caruso, those guys who were injured, I think they're just going to continue to gel just fine. They brought in Andre Drummond. I think that was just a great silent pickup. So I'm excited to see what the Bulls can do in the future. Who knows, man? Obviously, they got a lot of work to do and people to bring in, move around. So definitely excited for Chicago and see what happens. And as for Cleveland, man, what Cleveland has done, especially just last year with everything, Lauri Markkanen, the draft of Mobley, the year Garland had last year, man. And then got Jared Allen. Oh, they got Jared Allen and Trey. They got Jared Allen and Trey. Man, they loaded. Cleveland loaded, bro. And you know what? It's even a possibility that LeBron might go fucking home again. So, and obviously LeBron will not be the face of that team if he goes home, but I think he can get that dynasty kicking off. That's why I got him at 2B, because I think if LeBron goes home and it brings Bronny in over, because obviously in 2024, Bronny's going to go number 1 because LeBron's going to be a free agent. So, oh man, I'm getting ahead of myself. And so who knows with Cleveland, man? Who knows with Cleveland? I definitely like what they got going on over there for sure. So we'll see. That's why I got him at 2B. I think LeBron could be that guy to kickstart. And he's going to be a role player over there if he goes back. Don't get me wrong. He's going to be a role player, but I think he can kickstart things. And once you get that championship experience, man, it's over with, dog. So I'm excited, man. My third tier, man, third tier is a long way away. When I say long way away, four plus, 4 plus. I got, man, this is hard. So first and foremost, man, at the top of the third tier is the Hornets. LaMelo, you got to build around LaMelo. You still got to find a squad. As a person and character, I don't think Miles Bridges is the guy to build around. So, again, my personal opinion does not matter. Miles Bridges, you're in the NBA. So, obviously, you're doing something right. Proud of you. And I hope you get your head on straight, man. But you want to win championships, you got to get your head on straight. So, but I think LaMelo is that guy who can win championships. Excited for him. And if Hornets can rebuild or continue to build around him, we'll see what happens. Magic excite the hell out of me. They just got to pick and choose who they're going to build around. I love RJ Hampton over there. I love Cole Anthony. You know, they picked up Paulo Banchero. I think that was a great pick. And Franz last year had a great year. Wendell Carter Jr. came over from the Bulls in that Vucevic trade. So Magic got a great squad, man. They can just come together, become a team. These guys are growing together too as adults. So excited to see. And I think if you're going as adults and growing as NBA players, they remind me a lot of Golden State. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. They remind me a lot of Golden State. So I'm excited to see what Orlando can do. And we'll see. I think they're still a couple of years away. They still have players they have to pick from. Been hearing some noise about Jordan Poole once he's a restricted agent, but time will tell. And when time happens, I'll be here to discuss it. Pistons are also there for me, man. What they did with Jaden Ivey, I like Isaiah Stewart. They brought in Cade Cunningham last year. I'm excited to see what they can do. I think they're still a little bit away, but they can be a possibility for sure. I got another 3A, 3B. We're going to start with 3A. Shout out 7-1-3. That was 3, no gang signs. But anyway, shout out to 713, bro. Houston Rockets. I think they can be there. They got figure out what they're going to do with Kevin Porter Jr., but to build around Jalen Green, and now we have Jabari Smith Jr. from the draft. Very excited about, and I think Aspirin Sengen can be part of that 3 rebuild. So I'm excited, man. I really am. I think that they can be there in the next 5-6 years. We'll see what continues to be. I think Jalen Green will be a superstar. Very excited for him. So we'll see. I think they're in the right direction. Obviously, everything Harden put them through is hard to come back from that immediately. But now that they got Wall's big contract out of the way, they bought him out. Got to have some years come back. Got to have some years to come back from that loss. So I think they could be there. And obviously, OKC be my second to be very similar. Excuse me. Very similar to Houston. Bringing Chet Holmgren. Very upset about him getting hurt in that program. Nothing but prayers and blessings and good vibes sent to you and your family for sure. Just rehab hard, man, and just continue to grind, bro. And, man, next year come back like a dog, bro, and just destroy everybody. So, bringing Chet Holmgren, you got Josh Giddey last year. You got Shai over there. I think they're in the right direction. Still think they're 5-6 years apart. But I think Shai can be a superstar in this league. Honestly, I think Shai could too. I think Giddey could too, man. So who knows? So I'm excited for them. That's why I got them at 3B. I think they're still some years apart, but definitely excited for those young guys. It's always nice to see all these young guys come together and grow, man. Just to see Steph, man, everything he's done, and even Seth Curry, everything they've done. I've been basically adult since they've come into the league, and just continue to watch. Man, Steph does everything right, bro. Steph does everything right. And so does Seth, man. But it's just a beautiful thing to watch. So I'm excited, bro. I'm excited to watch these young guys and continue to grow. As you guys can tell, shout out to Amazon Prime, getting this shirt out early. We are BG. I had to represent. My boy Dennis Rodman about to go over there. Bring her home. I will have more information about that whenever that happens. Man, that's hilarious. But Dennis is Dennis, man. So who knows what the magic Dennis the man's got? You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. Very upset about that 9-year sentence. Shout out to Brittany's family. Nothing but love, thoughts, and prayers with you and your family. Keep your head up because things change. You never know what's going to happen. You could be home tomorrow. So, as for me, NBA fan, WNBA fan, basketball fan, as a human being, I think about you on a regular basis. Everybody who is doing time, and especially a lot of time, for not a good reason. Yes, laws are laws. Everybody makes mistakes, man. Lesson of the day. Lesson of the day. Lesson of the day was Special K. Everybody makes mistakes. There's always going to be judgment. There's always going to be positive vibes, negative vibes. I've seen both for Brittany. Man, we all make mistakes. And laws are laws. Bad timing happened and everything, but be careful of your judgment. It's a life lesson, man. Why do we judge other people when we're not even holding ourselves to that own accountability? The only people we should be judging is ourselves on a daily basis. I don't care if you're doing great, good, or you're president of the United States. We should be judging ourselves on a daily basis, reevaluating ourselves. What can we do to make ourselves better? What can I do to raise the bar? One rapper I used to listen to, Hobson, I will never forget, Ill Mind 8, Hobson, said in order to be successful, you have to change. And at the time, I was like, hey, change? Why can't I just keep doing this and that? Just be happy. And a lot of change has happened since that song came out, man. And he's right. We have to change almost day in, day out. We got to be ready for what's next. We got to continue to grow as people. Don't judge other people, man. Just about other people. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for that. Grow, judge yourself, evaluate yourself, and keep growing, man. Don't worry about other people. Worry about yourselves. Worry about your family. Continue to grow. And with that, I'm signing off, baby. Special K. Another day, another dollar. I thank my Lord for the pain, mama. Watch back in this cold world because everybody won't see tomorrow. Shout out to Ace Hood. You know who you are. Shout out to Jackie Moon, man. ELE, everybody love everybody. Y'all have a great day, man, and I'll be back at you. Special K is